Money was supposed to give you freedom, but for most people, it became a prison. You wake up thinking about bills. You work for a salary you don't control. You buy things you don't need. You compare your life to people you don't know. You chase status symbols that lose meaning the moment you get them. And somehow, the more you earn, the more trapped you feel. This is the modern paradox. We have more financial tools than any generation before us. Banking apps, credit cards, investment platforms, crypto markets, AI trading tools, online businesses, side hustles, passive income dreams. But emotionally, many people are poorer than ever, not because they have no money, but because money controls their mind. And this is exactly where Stoicism becomes dangerous, because the Stoics understood something modern society forgot. A man is not free because he has more. A man is free when he needs less. Today, we are going to break down the algorithm of greed, how modern money hijacks your attention, how consumerism turns your identity into a product, how debt becomes mental slavery, how comparison destroys peace, and how Stoic philosophy can help you build wealth without becoming owned by it. Because money is not evil, but attachment to money can quietly destroy your soul. In the ancient world, money was simple. It was a tool. You used it to buy food, shelter, security, resources. But today, money has become something else. It has become identity. People don't just want money, they want what money says about them. The car says, "I am successful." The watch says, "I am important." The apartment says, "I made it." The lifestyle says, "I am above average." And this is where the trap begins. Because the moment money becomes identity, you can never have enough. There will always be someone richer, someone younger, someone louder, someone with a better car, a bigger house, a cleaner aesthetic, a more impressive life. Social media turned wealth into a performance. And now, people are not just spending money, they are spending their peace. They are not buying objects, they are buying permission to feel valuable. But the Stoics would call this slavery. Epictetus taught that if your peace depends on things outside your control, you're not free, and money is partly outside your control. Markets change, jobs disappear, companies restructure. AI disrupts industries, inflation rises, opportunities shift. If your identity depends on income, then your soul belongs to the economy. And that is not strength, that is dependence. Modern greed does not look like greed anymore. It looks like ambition. It looks like productivity. It looks like motivation. It looks like self-improvement. But underneath, it is often fear. Fear of being average. Fear of being invisible. Fear of being left behind. Fear of being poor. Fear of not being respected. The algorithm understands this. Not just social media algorithms. The entire modern economy. It studies your insecurity. It watches what you click, what you save, what you envy, what you compare yourself to. Then it sells you a solution, a course, a product, a lifestyle, a subscription, a luxury item, a new identity. And every time you buy, the relief lasts a few seconds. Then the emptiness returns. So you buy again. This is not freedom. This is behavioral programming. The ancient Stoics did not have smartphones, but they understood desire. Seneca warned that poverty is not having too little, but wanting more. That sentence is more relevant today than ever, because modern society does not want you satisfied. A satisfied man is bad for business. A calm man does not impulse buy. A disciplined man does not chase trends. A secure man does not need to prove himself, so the system keeps you restless, always wanting, always comparing, always upgrading. always feeling behind. And the worst part? Most people call this ambition. But real ambition builds freedom. Greed builds dependency. There is a difference. Debt is not just financial. It is psychological. Every unpaid balance takes space in your mind. Every monthly payment steals future freedom. Every lifestyle upgrade becomes a silent contract. You don't just owe money. You owe time. You owe attention. You owe emotional energy. And when enough of your future income is already promised to the past, you stop feeling like a free person. This is why debt feels heavy, not only because of numbers, but because it removes options. You can't quit the job. You can't take the risk. You can't move freely. You can't think clearly. You become obedient, not because you are weak, but because your financial structure demands obedience. This is why the Stoic approach to money is not anti-wealth. It is anti-slavery. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Seneca was wealthy. The Stoics were not against resources. They were against being possessed by them. Money should serve your freedom, not your ego. Debt should be used carefully, not to decorate a life you secretly hate. And this is one of the most painful truths. Many people are not broke because they earn too little. They are broke because they are emotionally expensive. They need comfort. They need validation. They need distraction. They need to impress people. They need to escape boredom. And those needs cost money. A disciplined man reduces his emotional cost of living. That is the beginning of freedom. Most people think the solution is simple. Once I earn more, I'll be free. But many people earn more and still feel trapped. Why? Because income without discipline becomes fuel for bigger chains. More money often reveals who you already are. If you're insecure with little money, you may become louder with more money. If you're undisciplined with a small salary, you may become more reckless with a larger one. If you buy validation when you are broke, you will buy louder validation when you are rich. This is why Stoicism matters, because without inner control, external success becomes dangerous. Money magnifies character. It does not replace it. A calm person uses money as a tool. An insecure person uses money as a costume. And modern culture rewards the costume. This is why you see people showing wealth more than building it. Cars they don't own. Vacations they can't afford. Status they borrowed from credit. The image of wealth has become more addictive than wealth itself. But real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is options. Real wealth is waking up without panic. Real wealth is being able to say no. No to bad jobs. No to toxic people. No to desperate decisions. No to status games. The Stoic does not ask, "How can I look rich?" He asks, "How can I become harder to control?" That is the real financial question. There is another reason this topic matters now. The economy is changing fast. AI is entering workplaces. Companies are restructuring. Workers are being asked to adapt. Some people use technology to become more valuable. Others ignore it and hope nothing changes. But hope is not a strategy. The modern worker faces a brutal truth. If your skill can be automated, your comfort is dangerous. This does not mean panic. Stoicism is not panic. Stoicism is preparation. Marcus Aurelius wrote about meeting reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. And the reality is simple. The future will reward adaptability, not entitlement, not complaints, not nostalgia, not waiting, adaptability. This is where money and career connect. Your income is not only about effort, it is about value. And value changes with the world. A man who refuses to learn becomes cheaper over time. A man who adapts becomes harder to replace. So the Stoic response to AI is not fear. It is training. Learn faster. Detach from comfort. Build rare skills. Reduce financial pressure. Stop depending on one system for survival. Because the man with no savings, no skills, no discipline, and no plan is easy to control. The man with skills, discipline, savings, and emotional restraint is difficult to threaten. That is modern Stoic wealth. So how do you escape the algorithm of greed? Not by hating money, not by pretending money doesn't matter. Money matters, but it must become your servant, not your master. Here is the Stoic money framework. First, separate needs from symbols. Food is a need. Shelter is a need. Health is a need. Skills are a need. But impressing strangers is not a need. Looking successful is not a need. Keeping up with people online is not a need. The more you confuse symbols with survival, the more trapped you become. Second, build financial distance. Financial distance means space between you and desperation. Savings, lower expenses, fewer obligations, less debt, more skills. Every dollar you keep buys a small piece of freedom, not because money is sacred, but because options are sacred. Third, stop spending to regulate emotions. Many purchases are not financial decisions. They are emotional reactions. You feel stressed, so you buy. You feel behind, so you upgrade. You feel invisible, so you show off. The Stoic pauses. He asks, "Do I need this? Or am I trying to escape a feeling?" That pause can save your future. Fourth, invest in capability. The best investment is not always a stock. Sometimes it is your mind, your skill, your communication, your ability to sell, your discipline, your health, your focus. Because the market can fall, but a valuable person carries value everywhere. Fifth, use money to buy freedom, not status. Freedom means time. Freedom means health. Freedom means optionality. Freedom means not being forced to betray yourself for survival. This is the goal. Not looking rich. Being free. Now let's make this practical. Step 1. Audit your emotional spending. Look at your last 30 days of purchases, not with shame, with honesty. Which purchases were useful? Which were emotional? Which were bought to impress? Which were bought because you were bored? Your bank account is a diary. It reveals what you worship. Step 2. Build a freedom gap. This means reducing the distance between your current life and independence. Spend less than you earn. Build savings. Kill unnecessary obligations. Learn a skill that increases your value. The goal is not to become cheap. The goal is to become unthreatenable. Step 3. Choose one skill that AI cannot easily replace. Judgment, leadership, sales, strategy, storytelling, negotiation, taste, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving. Then train it like a weapon. Because the future will not reward people who simply work hard. It will reward people who become useful in ways machines cannot easily copy. That is Stoic career strategy. That is financial resilience. That is modern freedom. Money is not the enemy. Greed is. Status is. Comparison is. Emotional spending is. The need to prove yourself is. The Stoic does not reject wealth. He rejects slavery. He can use money without worshiping it. He can build wealth without losing peace. He can succeed without becoming addicted to applause. And that is rare today, because the modern world wants your attention, your insecurity, your fear, your comparison, your desire. It wants you consuming, reacting, chasing. But you can choose differently. You can become calm, disciplined, useful, hard to control, hard to replace, hard to manipulate. That is real wealth, not the number in your account, but the freedom in your mind. So ask yourself, does money serve you, or does it own you? If this video made you think differently, subscribe for more Stoic lessons on discipline, money, career, and mental strength. And comment one word: freedom, if you're done being controlled.